Hi there, Hannah here. Today we're going to talk about varnishing. So let me give you a little history on the things I have tried. And just because something didn't work for me doesn't mean it won't work for you. When I first started my varnishing journey, I tried polyacrylic. And I didn't have much luck with it. I let my paintings dry for 2 to 3 weeks before varnishing, and when I used the polyacrylic, I would still get little tiny cracks on the surface of the painting. And so after trying that several times, I gave up. A couple of paintings in the past I have used a clear gloss spray on, and those turned out fine, but it still wasn't quite what I wanted. And I was really nervous about going straight to a liquid varnish after my experience with polyacrylic. Some of the things that I tried a straight up varnish paintbrush, made for varnish. That didn't work out very well. I got a lot of lines in the varnish that showed up when dry. I also tried one of these silicone makeup blenders. I saw a video where another artist had used this, and I believe it was with the polyacrylic, and she had great luck with it. It turned out beautiful. I tried using this several times, and I just couldn't quite get it right. I couldn't make it work. This does work really well as far as being really easy to blend. I just didn't have, I don't know, enough skill maybe to get that to go on right. So that's something else you could try. What I have found now, this is what's working for me right now, is this golden brush. It's flat, and this is by Plaid. I got a couple of these, and this works beautifully. I love this brush for this. And I started using a thinned down Liquitex gloss varnish. And I've also tried in the past pouring the varnish on the painting and tilting to get it to spread out like you would do paint. And that was a disaster for me anyway. Lots of puddles and didn't dry evenly and all of that. So anyway, I'm going to mix some of this gloss varnish today and tell you how I do that. For me, it works a lot better when it's thinned. I tried using it straight, and I just didn't get the results I wanted. It's just too thick. So, going to start so I believe this is a 5-ounce cup. So I thin my varnish 80-20. So 80% varnish and 20% distilled water. So let me get my scale here. This is just an old kitchen scale that we had that I repurposed for mixing paints. Make sure I'm on ounces here. And tare. So I'm going to just gently kind of swirl this and move this around. I don't want to create a lot of bubbles, but it has been sitting for a little bit, a little while. And so I want to kind of just mix it really gently a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to have 4 ounces of the Liquitex gloss varnish. I'm going to gently put this in here. And then I'm going to add 1 ounce of distilled water. And then you're going to stir this very gently, especially if, see, I got a few bubbles in there from when I poured the water in. I'm just going to stir this very gently. If you're going to be using it right away, you really don't want bubbles in there, because those will end up popping up in your varnish, which I have discovered on occasion. A stray bubble, dried. Get some of those bubbles out of there. Just stirring it gently. And I have a lot of varnishing that I need to do. I have quite a number of paintings I need to varnish. And so I'm going to need to be able to keep this fresh. So what I use is this Glad press and seal. I don't like it in the kitchen, but I do like it for things like this when you're trying to save paint, maybe. It's great because it sticks to your surface. Keeps it a little airtight. And then I also, when I'm done varnishing, you know, you're waiting 3 hours between coats, I also put it in this cheap little plastic container with the lid. So I'm just trying to make sure that I'm keeping it as fresh as possible in between coats. Maybe a little overkill, but it's working for me, so that's what I do. And in my next video, I will show you how to varnish. But that's a little bit about my experience with varnish and how I mix my varnish. And I've had great luck with this so far. Okay, thanks for being here. See you next time.